For millennia, the concept of turning back the clock was the stuff of alchemy and fevered dreams. We watched as the seasons of our lives inevitably turned toward winter, accepting the slow decay of our cells as an immutable law of nature. But the landscape of human possibility has shifted. We are no longer merely observers of our decline, we have become the architects of our own biological destiny. Today, we stand at the threshold of a revolution sparked by a discovery so profound it earned the Nobel Prize. A breakthrough that suggests aging isn't a one-way street, but a biological program that can be paused, edited, and perhaps completely reversed. This is the story of how we decoded the cellular reset button and what it means for the future of the human race. To understand how we can reverse aging, we must first understand why we break down in the first place. Every second, trillions of chemical reactions occur within your body, managed by the intricate blueprints of your DNA. However, as time marches on, these blueprints become tattered. Think of it like a photocopy of a photocopy. Eventually, the instructions become blurry. This isn't just about wrinkles or gray hair, it's about the fundamental loss of cellular identity. Heart cells forget how to beat with vigor, neurons lose their connections, and the regenerative engines of our tissues begin to sputter and stall. For decades, the scientific community believed this damage was cumulative and irreversible, a slow accumulation of molecular rust that eventually consumes the machine. The turning point came from the laboratory of Shinya Yamanaka. He asked a radical question. Could an adult, specialized cell, like a skin cell, be tricked into becoming a blank slate again? Before his work, it was thought that once a cell chose a career, like becoming a bone cell or a nerve cell, it was locked into that fate forever. But Yamanaka identified 4 specific genes, now known as the Yamanaka factors, that acted like a master reset code. By introducing these factors, he proved that we could wipe the cellular memory of age and return a cell to its embryonic-like state. This wasn't just a minor repair, it was a total biological rebirth. It proved that the software of youth still exists inside every single cell of your body, even in old age. It's just been switched off. While Yamanaka showed us the reset button, other Nobel-level research helped us understand the clock itself. Enter the world of epigenetics. If DNA is the hard drive of your body, the epigenome is the software that decides which files are read and which are ignored. As we age, chemical tags called methyl groups accumulate on our DNA like dust on a keyboard, causing the wrong genes to turn on and the right ones to shut down. This is the epigenetic clock. Researchers discovered that by measuring these marks, they could predict a person's biological age with haunting accuracy. More importantly, they realized that if they could clean off these chemical tags, they could effectively reprogram the cell to act young again without changing the underlying DNA sequence. Another piece of the puzzle lies at the tips of our chromosomes in structures called telomeres. Think of them like the plastic caps on the ends of shoelaces. Every time a cell divides, these caps get a little bit shorter. Eventually, they become so short that the cell can no longer divide safely and either dies or enters a zombie state known as senescence. The Nobel Prize-winning discovery of telomerase, an enzyme that can actually rebuild these caps, changed everything. It suggested that cellular immortality wasn't just a theoretical concept seen in cancer cells or pond scum, but a mechanism we might harness to keep our own tissues perpetually youthful. If we can maintain the length of our telomeres, we can theoretically keep the engine of cellular division running indefinitely. But simply dividing isn't enough. We have to deal with the pollution of age. Senescent cells, or zombie cells, are those that have stopped dividing but refuse to die. Instead, they linger in the body, secreting inflammatory signals that damage neighboring healthy cells. They are like a single rotten apple in a basket, slowly spoiling everything around them. Recent breakthroughs in senolytics, drugs designed to selectively target and eliminate these zombie cells, have shown breathtaking results in animal studies. By clearing out the cellular trash, researchers have seen aged mice regain their fur color, improve their kidney function, and even increase their overall lifespan. This suggests that part of reversing aging is simply a matter of biological housekeeping. None of these processes can happen without energy, and that energy comes from our mitochondria, the power plants of the cell. As we age, these power plants become inefficient and leaky, producing less energy and more toxic byproducts. This mitochondrial dysfunction is a primary driver of the fatigue and frailty we associate with old age. However, we've discovered molecules like NAD+ that act as a vital fuel for these power plants. By boosting levels of these molecules, we can effectively tune up the cellular engines. In laboratory settings, this has resulted in elderly muscle tissue becoming indistinguishable from young tissue. We are learning how to restore the high-octane energy of youth at a fundamental molecular level. The biggest challenge with resetting cells is that if you go too far, you turn the cell back into a stem cell and it loses its function. A heart cell might forget how to be a heart cell. The real breakthrough in the last few years is partial reprogramming. By applying the Yamanaka factors for just a short burst, we can reset the epigenetic clock without wiping the cell's identity. It's like hitting refresh on a computer instead of factory reset. In groundbreaking studies, this technique was used to restore sight to mice with damaged optic nerves and to rejuvenate the tissues of progeria-stricken animals. We are finding the sweet spot where we can strip away the damage of time while keeping the wisdom and function of the adult cell intact. The sheer complexity of the human genome and the trillions of chemical tags on our DNA makes this a data problem as much as a biological one. This is where artificial intelligence enters the fray. AI is now being used to sift through billions of molecular combinations to find the perfect cocktail of genes and chemicals that can trigger rejuvenation safely. We are moving away from trial and error and toward precision longevity. Imagine a future where a simple blood test analyzes your epigenetic clock and a customized AI-designed therapy is prescribed to target your specific areas of cellular decay. We are translating the chaotic language of biology into a digital code that we can finally understand and edit. As we move closer to the reality of age reversal, we must confront profound ethical questions. If aging is no longer inevitable, what happens to the rhythm of human life? Will this technology be a luxury for the few or a fundamental right for the many? There is a fear that by conquering death, we might lose the very thing that makes life precious, its finitude. However, proponents argue that this isn't about living forever in a state of decay, but about extending the health span, the period of life spent in vibrant, disease-free health. The goal isn't just to add years to our life, but to add life to our years, ensuring that a 90-year-old has the physical and mental vitality of a 30-year-old. This isn't science fiction for the distant future. Human trials for various age reversal components are already underway, from drugs that mimic the effects of caloric restriction to gene therapies targeting specific age-related diseases like macular degeneration and heart failure. The first wave of longevity medicine is arriving. In the next decade, we may see the first approved treatments that don't just treat the symptoms of old age, but the root cause, aging itself. We're transitioning from a sick care system to a well care system. The implications for our economy, our families, and our personal aspirations are staggering. We are the first generation in history to have a say in how fast, or if, we grow old. The Nobel Prize breakthroughs in aging have taught us one vital lesson. our bodies are more plastic and resilient than we ever dared to imagine. Death may still be a part of the human story, but the long, slow decline we've come to expect is not an absolute law. We are uncovering the biological levers of youth, and with them the responsibility to use this knowledge for the flourishing of all. As we look forward, the horizon is no longer a wall, but a doorway. The quest for the fountain of youth has moved from the maps of explorers to the petri dishes of scientists, and the results are clear. The clock is ticking, but for the first time, we might just have the power to turn it back.